You know how it is. The news starts talking about the economy, things get a little shaky, and suddenly everyone's watching their wallets. But have you ever looked around and seen some businesses that just don't seem to care? They're buzzing along like nothing's changed. Well, today we're going to figure out their secret. Why do some industries seem totally bulletproof?
Okay, let me ask you something. If you had to cut back, like right now, what's the absolute last thing you'd give up? Seriously, think about it. Is it Netflix, that daily latte, or is it something deeper? Because the answer to that question, well, that's the secret sauce. It's the key to understanding why some companies don't just survive a downturn, they actually crush it. All right, so when money gets tight for any of us, our brain kind of flips a switch, right? We go into this survival mode with our budget. Suddenly, it's all about sorting everything into two piles, the nice-to-haves and the gotta-haves. It's a massive reevaluation of what's a want versus what's a real honest-to-goodness need.
And, the fancy word for this is a recession. Sounds kind of scary, but all it really means is that the economic engine is sputtering a bit. There's just less money moving around, so people everywhere start holding onto their cash a little tighter. And that line we talked about, between wants and needs, it becomes razor sharp. A want is, the latest smartphone or a big dinner out with friends. A need is groceries for the week, medicine, gas in the car. When things are good, that line can get pretty blurry, can it? But during a recession, man, it's like it's drawn in permanent marker. We all instinctively put the fun stuff on hold to make sure the essential stuff is covered. And that one simple human decision, that's what changes everything.
So this big shift in focus, right, towards just the needs, it actually creates a really predictable pattern. You start to see that the businesses dealing in those non-negotiable, gotta-have-it items, they're basically wrapped in economic bubble wrap. They become the bedrock of the economy when everything else is shaking.
And what's really fascinating is that this isn't just a local thing. You can look anywhere in the world and you'll find the same core group of industries that just keep on trucking. And it all boils down to one magic number: 5. Yep, there are 5 types of businesses that are basically built to last through any storm.
So what are they? Drumroll, please. Food, health, personal care, maintenance, and education. Now I know, they might seem like a random grab bag of industries, but they all share a secret weapon. They provide something we absolutely need, something we just can't put off. Let's dig into each one and see what makes them tick.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the big ones, the absolute non-negotiables. We're talking about the industries that keep us, us, the ones that take care of our bodies and our health. These are the things that no matter how tight the budget gets, we will always find a way to pay for. And the most obvious one of all, food. I mean, come on, we gotta eat, right? It's literally the foundation of survival. Now, how we eat might change big time, but the fact that we are spending money on food, that never stops. And you can see that shift happening right here. We might skip the fancy restaurant, that's for sure. That's a want. But what happens instead? We end up spending more at the grocery store, especially the budget-friendly ones, because we're cooking at home. See? The money doesn't just vanish into thin air. It just shifts lanes, from the dining out lane to the cooking in lane. And right on the heels of food is, of course, our health. Think about it. If your kid gets a fever or you need a prescription filled, you're not going to pull up your stock portfolio to see if it's a good time to go to the pharmacy. Nope, health is an investment you just can't put off. And just like with food, you see that same divide here. Pharmacies, doctors' offices, urgent care, their business stays steady because, people still get sick. But those optional things, like elective cosmetic surgery or a fancy spa weekend, those get pushed to the back of the line pretty fast when money's a concern. Now, this next one might catch you off guard a little bit: personal care. But we're not talking about luxury spa days. We're talking about something way more fundamental. It's about dignity. It's about routine. When the world feels kind of chaotic, simple things like brushing your teeth or getting a haircut can make you feel normal, grounded. It's a huge psychological boost. So you might ditch the $50 face serum for a $10 one from the supermarket. That's a classic want-to-need switch. But are you going to stop buying soap, toothpaste, deodorant? No way. Those are basics. The need to feel clean and just presentable, that's a constant. Okay, let's shift gears. The next couple of industries are all about security. It's about protecting the stuff we already have and making sure we're ready for whatever comes next. Let's talk about maintenance, because here's the thing: stuff breaks. It doesn't care about the economy. Your car doesn't check the news before getting a flat tire. Your kitchen sink doesn't wait for a market upswing to start leaking. When something breaks, it's not a want to fix, it's a need to fix, and you need to fix it now.
And again, it's that classic split between must do and dream of doing. The car mechanic, the plumber, they're going to be busy. But that dream kitchen remodel you've been planning, or that big landscaping project, yeah, that's probably going to wait. It's a nice to have that can be postponed until things feel a bit more stable. All right, our last one, education. And I know this one sounds a little counterintuitive, right? But think about it. When the economy is tough, the job market gets even tougher. It gets super competitive. So what do people do? They look for an edge. They look to upskill, to make themselves more valuable, or maybe even to switch to a whole new career that feels safer.
And it's all about getting the best bang for your buck. People aren't just learning for fun. We see enrollment in things like trade schools and certificate programs go way up. Why? Because there's a clear, direct line from that training to a better job. On the flip side, a super expensive 4-year degree with no obvious career at the end, or, a pottery class, those start to feel like luxuries that are hard to justify.
Okay, so we've gone through all 5: food, health, personal care, maintenance, and education. So what's the big takeaway here? What does this all tell us about, well, us? It really boils down to this. Tough economic times are like a giant filter. They strip away all the noise and show us what we really value. We don't actually stop spending. We just get laser focused on what is absolutely fundamentally essential.
And look, this isn't just some interesting theory. This has real-life value for you. Thinking about a new career? This points you towards the stable ones. Got a business idea? Maybe focus on one of these needs. And honestly, for every single one of us, it's a fantastic blueprint for looking at our own budgets and figuring out what really matters.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. These 5 needs, food, health, repairs, they seem pretty timeless, right? But our world is changing so fast. So what are the next essential industries going to be? I mean, is cybersecurity going to be as important as a plumber? Will mental wellness become just as non-negotiable as physical health? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.